Good evening. This is All India Radio. I am Nishit Kumar and with me is R.S. Raghu with the evening news. The headlines. International Day of Yoga celebrated across the world. Prime Minister Narendra Modi leads yoga celebrations in Mysuru with thousands of people. Prime Minister says yoga is not for India alone but for the entire humanity. NSA Ajit Doval hails Agnipath scheme, says Agnipath is not a standalone scheme in itself. It is an effort to make India strong and secure. Registration process for recruitment of the first batch in Indian Air Force under Agnipath scheme to begin from the 24th of this month. Army and Navy to start from the 1st of next month. Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh to hold bilateral talks with Australian Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Defence Richard Marles in New Delhi tomorrow to further defence cooperation. Senior diplomat Ruchira Kamboj appointed as the next ambassador and permanent representative of India to the United Nations. Former Union Minister Yashwant Sinha to be the opposition party's candidate for presidential election. In Maharashtra, Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray sacks Shiv Sena Minister Eknath Shinde from post of party group leader. And in hockey, the first match of the final double-header between India and the USA in the FIH Pro League 2021-22 underway at the Hazelerberg Stadium in Rotterdam, Netherlands. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today led the 8th edition of International Day of Yoga in the heritage city of Mysuru in front of the iconic Mysuru Palace. On the occasion, the Prime Minister said yoga is not for India alone but for the entire humanity.
इस बार अंतर्राष्ट्रीय योग दिवस की थीम है योगा फॉर ह्यूमैनिटी। मैं इस थीम के जरिए योग के इस संदेश को पूरी मानवता तक पहुंचाने के लिए यूनाइटेड नेशंस का और सभी देशों का हृदय से धन्यवाद करता हूं। साथियों, योग के लिए हमारे महर्षियों ने, हमारे आचार्यों ने कहा है शांतिम योगिन विंदति। इट मीन्स योगा ब्रिंग पीस फॉर अस। द पीस फ्रॉम योगा इज नॉट ओनली फॉर इंडिविजुअल्स. Yoga brings peace to our society, to our nations and the world. And yoga brings peace to our universe.
The Prime Minister said yoga is a holistic approach to health and well-being for mind, body and soul. He emphasized the need to realize the unlimited possibilities of yoga. Mr. Modi pointed out that yoga is a process that leads one from the inner peace to realize universal peace. The Prime Minister said yoga takes one from awareness of the self to the consciousness of the world. Yoga helps us to orient our minds towards problem solving, be it climate change or international conflict, he added.
Yoga makes us conscious of everything within us and builds a sense of awareness. It starts with self-awareness and proceeds to awareness of the world. When we become aware of ourselves and our world, we begin to spot things that need to be changed, both in ourselves and in the world.
Mr. Modi said the world has now realized the benefits of yoga as it has provided a window to the spiritual growth of mankind. He thanked the United Nations and other countries for participating in the International Day of Yoga. This year, the International Day of Yoga 2022 saw many new initiatives. The Guardian Ring program, which is a collaborative exercise between 79 countries and United Nations organization, along with the Indian missions abroad, illustrates yoga's unifying power that surpasses national boundaries. Speaking on the occasion, Ayush Minister Sarbananda Sonowal said, yoga is our art, culture and tradition. He thanked the Prime Minister for spreading the message of yoga at the international fora. Chief Minister of Karnataka, Basavaraj Bommai, thanked Mr. Modi for choosing Mysuru to host the event. He said the Prime Minister has brought the world together on one platform through the medium of yoga. National Security Advisor Ajit Doval has said that Agniveers would never constitute the whole army. He said those Agniveers who become regulars eventually will undergo intensive training, acquire experience over a period of time. In an interview to a news agency, Mr. Doval said there is a need to look at it in a perspective. He said Agnipath is a game-changer scheme for a well-trained and agile army. He highlighted Agnipath is not a standalone scheme in itself.
अग्निवीर केवल पहले 4 साल में रिक्रूटेड जवान होंगे. They will be experienced, they will be trained and other. And these Agniveers, those who become the regulars eventually, will go through more intensive training, will acquire the experience, will become more worthy and more experienced over the period of time. So Indian Army at any point of time will have a large number of people who, though recruited as Agniveers, but had been specially selected for their suitability, for their fitness, for their agility, for their motivation and for their aptitude for the job. It is not only that the Indian Army will be having only this component. Yes, Indian Army will constitute at the level of the Javans and the ORs who have been recruited through the process of Agniveer, specially selected, whose work, whose performance has been monitored.
The NSA underlined that when Prime Minister Narendra Modi came to power in 2014, one of his prime priorities was to make India secure and strong, and that required many avenues, many steps, multitude of them. Mr. Doval said, broadly speaking, they come under 4 heads. It requires equipment, it requires change in systems and structures, it requires change in technology, it requires change in manpower, policies, and they have to be futuristic, he added. Mr. Doval said the whole world is undergoing a great change as there will be contactless wars and war against the invisible.
Security is a very dynamic concept. It cannot remain static. Security is only in relation to the environment in which we have to protect our national interests and in which we have to protect all our national assets. In this context, if we see, the whole world is undergoing a great change. The wars are changing, they are complex. Increasingly, we are going towards a contactless war. We are also going towards war against the invisible enemy. Technology is taking over at a very rapid speed. So what was good for yesterday is not necessarily good for tomorrow. जो हम कल कर रहे थे, वही भविष्य में भी करते रहें, तो हम सुरक्षित रहेंगे, ये संभव नहीं है. यदि हमें कल की तैयारी करनी है, तो हमें परिवर्तित होना पड़ेगा.
The government has stressed that selection process for the recruitment of Agniveers under the newly launched Agnipath scheme will be transparent, fair and objective. Registration process for recruitment of first batch in Indian Air Force will start from the 24th of this month. Army and Navy will start the registration process from the 1st of next month. Briefing media in New Delhi today, Lieutenant General and Additional Secretary in Department of Military Affairs Anil Puri said no change will be made in the recruitment process and regimentation will remain unchanged. He said Agnipath scheme lays emphasis on youthful profile of the armed forces, recruitment of tech-savvy and adaptable people and making individuals future-ready. Mr. Puri informed that Agniveers will be eligible for gallantry awards. He said a helpline number 2301-3865 has been started to help the candidates.
मैं आपको आश्वासन देना चाहता हूं कि रिक्रूटमेंट के प्रोसेस में कोई चेंज नहीं है. जो अभी 5 साल पहले रिक्रूटमेंट प्रोसेस था या 2 साल पहले था और 5 दिन बाद होगा, प्रोसेस में कोई चेंज नहीं. तीनों सर्विसेज के जो प्रोसेस थे वो वैसे के वैसे रखे गए हैं. ऑल इंडिया ऑल क्लास के ऊपर लोग बोल रहे हैं, कोई फर्क नहीं है. पहले भी हम ऑल इंडिया ऑल क्लास थे, अब भी ऑल इंडिया ऑल क्लास रहेंगे. इसमें कोई किसी को, ये खासकर इसकी जरूरत है हमारे जो वेटरन भाई हैं जिन्होंने हमको ट्रेन करके यहां बिठाया है, उनके लिए है. कईयों के दिमाग में आशंका रही है कि इसके ऊपर कुछ हो रहा है, ऐसा कुछ नहीं. जो रेजिमेंटेशन का प्रोसेस है वो बिल्कुल अनचेंज्ड रहेगा.
Air Marshal Suraj Kumar Jha said there is no change in the process of induction, entry-level qualification and examination syllabus. He said all enrollments in Air Force will take place only through Agniveer Vayu. He said online exam will be conducted on 250 centers across the country from the 24th of July to the 31st of July 2022. He said the recruitment process will be completed by the end of this year. He said to helpline numbers 011-25699-606 and 011-25694-209 have been started to help the aspirants.
इसके बहुत सारे एलिमेंट हमारे ऑफिसर ट्रेनिंग एयरफोर्स एकेडमी में ऑलरेडी इम्प्लीमेंट किए जा चुके हैं, कुछ और होंगे, और यही फिलॉसफी हम अपने अग्निवीर के ट्रेनिंग में भी इस्तेमाल करेंगे। रोड मैप तैयार है, बहुत सारी टीमें इसको इम्प्लीमेंट करने के लिए अभी काम कर रही हैं। अग्निवीरों को सक्षम बनाने में सबसे बड़े स्टेक होल्डर्स हम खुद इंडियन एयरफोर्स हैं, ये हमारी जिम्मेदारी। मेकिंग एवरी अग्निवीर वायु stand tall with his head held high with his peers anywhere in this country is our responsibility. Mission always. I, on behalf of Indian Air Force, want to state unequivocally that the combat capabilities and readiness of Indian Air Force is non-negotiable. The Indian Air Force and the Government of India will do everything that is required to keep us combat-worthy and combat-ready.
Vice Admiral Dinesh K. Tripathi said that Indian Navy will publish the recruitment calendar for Agniveers tomorrow. He said the first batch of Agniveer will start their training on INS Chilika from the 21st of November this year.
हम वही उतना ही टाइम ले रहे हैं जितना कि हर बार लेते थे। इस बार थोड़ा सा हम जल्दी कर रहे हैं क्योंकि हमें जल्द से जल्द अग्निवीर को लाना है अपने ट्रेनिंग एस्टेब्लिशमेंट चिल्का में। तो वहां पे उनका मेडिकल होगा और जो सेलेक्ट हो जाएंगे मेडिकल में तो फर्स्ट लॉट ऑफ अग्निवीर हमारे जो बेसिक ट्रेनिंग एस्टेब्लिशमेंट है INS चिल्का ओडिशा में, वहां पे अपनी वो ट्रेनिंग शुरू कर देंगे। तो ये हमारा अभी तक का विजन है और इसको मैं मानता हूं कि इसको हम पूरी तरह से जितनी टाइम लाइन्स हैं पूरा करेंगे।
Indian Navy has said that the Agniveers will get opportunity to join Merchant Navy after completing 4-year training. Briefing media in New Delhi today, Vice Admiral Dinesh K. Tripathi said an MOU was signed between Directorate General of Shipping and Indian Navy for transition of Indian Navy personnel to Merchant Navy.
हमारी मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ शिपिंग और डीजी शिपिंग के साथ कई महीनों से बात चल रही थी और येस्टरडे कल ही डीजी शिपिंग ने अपना एक DGS ऑर्डर जिसको कहते हैं 16/2022 उसको इशू किया है। वो केवल अग्निवीर के लिए है कि 4 साल की ट्रेनिंग के बाद जब ये अग्निवीर बाहर निकलेंगे तो वो किस ग्रेड में सीधे मर्चेंट नेवी में जा सकते हैं डायरेक्ट। उन्हें कई सारे प्रावधान दे रखे हैं। तो आई एम श्योर जो हमारे फ्यूचर अग्निवीर्स हैं नेवी के तो उसको भी शायद पढ़ रहे होंगे अपनी तैयारी के साथ करने के लिए।
Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh will hold bilateral talks with Australian Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Defence Richard Marles in New Delhi tomorrow. During the bilateral talks, the two ministers will review the defence cooperation between the two countries and explore new initiatives to further strengthen bilateral engagements. They will also exchange views on regional and global issues of shared interest. Mr. Richard Marles reached Goa yesterday on the first leg of his 4-day visit to India. He visited Goa Shipyard Limited today. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar today met with Deputy Prime Minister and Defence Minister of Australia Richard Marles. In a tweet today, Dr. Jaishankar said India and Australia agreed on the importance of strengthening strategic partnership to effectively address contemporary challenges. He said growing security cooperation has been a key facet of expanding ties between the two countries. Senior diplomat Ruchira Kamboj has been appointed as the next ambassador and permanent representative of India to the United Nations. A 1987 batch Indian Foreign Service officer, Ruchira Kamboj, is presently serving as ambassador of India to Bhutan. She will succeed T.S. Thirumurti as the Indian ambassador to the United Nations. The Ministry of External Affairs said Ruchira Kamboj is expected to take up the assignment shortly.
In Jammu and Kashmir, Union Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh today inaugurated the Seismology Observatory in Dandayal area, Udhampur district today. The third such centre in J&K has been set up by the Ministry of Earth Sciences at a cost of 20 lakh rupees. A complete seismic record of Udhampur, Doda, Kishtwar, Ramban and many other districts will be prepared at the observatory. Dr. Jitendra Singh said that 152 earthquake observatories are being established by the central government, including 3 more in the Kashmir division in the next 4 months. Assam has become the 36th state to implement One Nation, One Ration Card scheme. With this, One Nation, One Ration Card scheme is successfully implemented in all the 36 states and union territories, making food security portable throughout the country. The scheme is aimed at enabling migrant workers and their family members to seamlessly lift their entitled subsidized food grains from any fair shop price of their own choice anywhere in the country.
Former Union Minister Yashwant Sinha will be the opposition's candidate for presidential election. Opposition parties today announced his name after the meeting in New Delhi. In a joint statement, the parties said they have taken a unanimous decision on Mr. Sinha's candidature. NCP Chief Sharad Pawar informed that Mr. Sinha will file his nomination on the 27th of this month. The meeting was attended by Congress leader Mallikarjun Kharge, CPIM General Secretary Sitaram Yechuri, SP leader Professor Ram Gopal Yadav, TMC leader Abhishek Banerjee, Thiruchi Siva of DMK and others. The BJP Parliamentary Board meeting is underway in New Delhi to discuss the name of candidate for the presidential election. The meeting, which is taking place at party headquarters, is being attended by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, BJP President JP Nadda, Union Minister Amit Shah and Rajnath Singh, among others.
Shiv Sena Minister Eknath Shinde has been removed from the post of party group leader. The party sources said that MLA Ajay Chaudhary will replace Shinde. The decision came amid a meeting being held at official residence of CM Uddhav Thackeray. You are listening to the evening news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. International Day of Yoga celebrated across the world. Prime Minister Narendra Modi leads yoga celebration in Mysuru with thousands of people. Prime Minister says yoga is not for India alone but for the entire humanity. NSA Ajit Doval hails Agnipath scheme, says Agnipath is not a standalone scheme in itself. It is an effort to make India strong and secure. Registration process for recruitment of first batch in Indian Air Force under Agnipath scheme to begin from the 24th of this month. Army and Navy to start from the 1st of next month. Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh to hold bilateral talks with Australian Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Defence Richard Marles in New Delhi tomorrow to further defence cooperation. Senior diplomat Ruchira Kamboj appointed as next ambassador and permanent representative of India to the United Nations. Former Union Minister Yashwant Sinha to be opposition party's candidate for presidential election. In Maharashtra, Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray sacks Shiv Sena Minister Eknath Shinde from post of party group leader. And in hockey, the first match of the final double-header between India and the USA in the FIH Pro League 2021-22 underway at the Hazel Aarbeek Stadium in Rotterdam, Netherlands. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
अपने बिजनेस को बढ़ाने के लिए लीजिए आकाशवाणी का सहयोग और दीजिए उसे बुलंदियों के पंख।
आपका बिजनेस लोकल है या राष्ट्रीय, आकाशवाणी देती है उपभोक्ताओं तक पहुंचने का हर विकल्प।
और अब तो आप घर, दफ्तर या दुकान पर बैठे बैठे कर सकते हैं आकाशवाणी के किसी भी केंद्र के लिए विज्ञापनों की बुकिंग।
आकाशवाणी के विभिन्न चैनलों पर विज्ञापन देना सुलभ और सस्ता।
बुकिंग है तो संपर्क करें 8700014242 पर।
8700014242।
कंपटीशन की अगर आप कर रहे हैं तैयारी तो उनके लिए ऑल इंडिया रेडियो पर हम लाए हैं अभ्यास, एक ऐसा कार्यक्रम जिसमें आप पूछेंगे सवाल व्हाट्सएप नंबर 9289094044 पर या फिर ईमेल करेंगे abhyas.airnews@gmail.com पर और हमारे विशेषज्ञ देंगे इसका जवाब। इस बार का विषय है इंटरनल सिक्योरिटी और सवाल भेजने की अंतिम तारीख है 22 जून। आपका अभ्यास हमारा प्रयास।
Welcome back. You are tuned to the evening news on All India Radio. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will attend the 14th Brics Summit hosted by China on the 23rd and the 24th of this month. The summit will be held in virtual format under the theme of Foster High-Quality Brics Partnership, usher in a new era for global development. The External Affairs Minister said Brics has become a platform for discussing and deliberating on issues of common concern for all developing countries. Prior to the summit, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will also deliver a keynote speech virtually in the opening ceremony of the Brics Business Forum tomorrow. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar will be on a 4-day visit to Kigali, Rwanda from tomorrow to attend the 26th Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting. He will be leading the Indian delegation to the Shogun, which had earlier been postponed twice due to COVID-19 pandemic. The theme of the summit is delivering a common future, connecting, innovating, transforming. During the meeting, the leaders of the Commonwealth member states are scheduled to deliberate on issues of global challenges like climate change, food security and health issues. Tourism Minister G. Kishan Reddy and Railways Minister Ashwini Vaishnaw today flagged off the Bharat Gaurav tourist train from Delhi Safdarjung railway station. Speaking on the occasion, Mr. Reddy said that this is the first tourist train connecting India and Nepal. He said Bharat Gaurav tourist train is starting its first Ramayana Yatra for 18 days from today. This will cover the religious destination of Janakpur in Nepal for the first time, in addition to other popular destinations such as Ayodhya, Nandigram, Sitamarhi, Varanasi, Prayagraj, Chitrakoot, Panchavati in Nasik, Hampi, Rameshwaram and Bhadrachalam.
And now let's listen to our special program Azadi Ka Safar, highlighting the importance of the day during the freedom struggle.
Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. Birth of a Nation. India's glorious freedom struggle is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of the struggle every day.
Will you kindly now listen? I am talking to you from a great distance, and my voice is slightly spoilt by the very good but not yet perfect instrument through which I am speaking. So you may not guess who I am. I am Rajagopalachari, and I am speaking from Madras All India Radio Broadcasting Station.
On the 21st of June in 1948, Chakravarti Rajagopalachari was appointed the last Governor-General of India. During the tumultuous period of transfer of power in 1947, the then Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru decided to retain the outgoing Governor-General Mountbatten in the same position in the independent India to maintain continuity and lend stability.
When Mountbatten left by June 1948, nearly 1 year after independence, Chakravarti Rajagopalachari was appointed the last Governor-General of India on 21st of June 1948. He remained at this position till Rajendra Prasad was elected as the President of the Republic of India on 26th of January 1950.
We remember freedom fighter Tiku Ram, who was a resident of Sikar, Rajasthan. Tiku was a part of a gathering of Kisan agitators on the 21st of June 1934 to demonstrate against the increased land tax and its forcible collection by the British government. Hearing the news of this Kisan gathering, a senior police officer reached there with his force and ordered for lathi charge first and then for opening fire on the agitators. Many people, including Tiku, received serious gunshot wounds in the firing, and Tiku died on the same day. AIR News salutes the brave martyr.
We also remember martyr Nawab Qadir Ali Khan. Qadir Ali was an eminent Amir of Nagpur. He took a leading part in the First War of Independence in 1857. Qadir Ali organized the rebels of his region, provided financial support to them, and led them in attacking the British establishments at several places.
He was caught by the company troops during their attack on the rebels and charged with treason and rebellion. He was sentenced to death and was executed by hanging on the 21st of June, 1862. AIR News salutes the brave son of the soil.
That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. See you in the next episode tomorrow.
Noted poet and literator Professor Ram Darash Mishra will be awarded the prestigious Saraswati Samman for his collection of poems Main To Yahan Hoon on the 27th of this month in New Delhi. The KK Foundation will present this award to Professor Mishra, which is a cash award of 15 lakh rupees. More than 196 crore 44 lakh COVID vaccine doses have been administered in the country so far. The Union Health Ministry said over 10 lakh 50,000 vaccine doses were administered today. The ministry said more than 5 crore 73 lakh vaccine doses have been administered to the children in the age group of 12 to 14 years so far. Over 4 crore 22 lakh precaution doses have been administered to the identified categories of beneficiaries, including healthcare workers, frontline workers and people above 18 years of age.
In Odisha, 3 CRPF Javans were martyred in an ambush by the Maoists in the Nuapara district today. As per reports, the CRPF Javans were ambushed by the Naxalites when they were out on a road opening assignment in the Patadara jungle under the Borden block of the district. Senior officials have rushed to the spot. Details are awaited. In the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, 3 terrorists were neutralized this morning by security forces in 2 separate encounters that broke out last night between terrorists and security forces near Tolibal village in Sopore area of North Kashmir's Baramulla district and Tujan in South Kashmir's Pulwama district. The News Services Division of All India Radio will bring tonight a special program on the 8th edition of International Day of Yoga. This program can be heard on FM Gold channel and additional frequencies from 9:30 to 10 p.m. This will also be available on our website newsonair.nic.in and on our YouTube channel News on AIR Official.
In Jammu and Kashmir, Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha handed over the Chess Olympiad torch to the Chess Grand Master Praveen Thipse today at Sher-e Kashmir International Convention Centre SKICC in Srinagar today. The first ever Chess Olympiad torch, which was launched by Prime Minister Narendra Modi on the 19th of June from Indira Gandhi Stadium in Delhi, will travel to 75 cities in 40 days before it culminates at Mahabalipuram in Tamil Nadu for the 44th Chess Olympiad. The Indian women's junior hockey team will take on Ukraine in their third match of the UNIFA U23 Five Nations tournament in Dublin tomorrow. The match will begin at 5:30 p.m. IST. In the second match of the tournament, the Indian team staged a fine comeback to hold Netherlands to a 2-2 draw yesterday. The first match of the final doubleheader between India and the USA in the FIH Pro League 2021-22 is underway at the Hazel Auweg Stadium in Rotterdam, Netherlands. India is trailing by 1-0 when the reports last came in.
And now let us take a look at the weather forecast for tomorrow. National capital Delhi is expected to have partly cloudy sky. The minimum temperature will be 25 degrees while the maximum will be around 34 degrees. Mumbai will have generally cloudy sky with heavy rain. The minimum temperature will be 25 degrees and the maximum will be around 31. Chennai will have generally cloudy sky with light rain. Minimum temperature will be 24 and the maximum 34 degrees Celsius. Kolkata will have generally cloudy sky with a few spells of rain or thunder showers. Minimum temperature will be around 26 and the maximum around 32 degrees. Srinagar and Jammu are expected to have thunderstorm with rain. Leh and Gilgit will have generally cloudy sky with possibility of rain or thunderstorm or dust storm. Muzaffarabad will have partly cloudy sky becoming generally cloudy towards afternoon or evening or night. Hyderabad, Bengaluru and Thiruvananthapuram will have generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. In the northeast, Guwahati, Imphal, Shillong, Itanagar, Aizawl will have generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers, and Gangtok will have generally cloudy sky with moderate rain. And now before we close, a look at the headlines once again. International Day of Yoga celebrated across the world. Prime Minister Narendra Modi leads yoga celebrations in Mysuru with thousands of people. Prime Minister says yoga is not for India alone but for the entire humanity. NSA Ajit Doval hails Agnipath scheme, says Agnipath is not a standalone scheme in itself. It is an effort to make India strong and secure. Registration process for recruitment of the first batch in Indian Air Force under Agnipath scheme to begin from the 24th of this month. Army and Navy to start from the 1st of next month. Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh to hold bilateral talks with Australian Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Defence Richard Marles in New Delhi tomorrow to further defence cooperation. Senior diplomat Ruchira Kamboj appointed as the next ambassador and permanent representative of India to the United Nations. Former Union Minister Yashwant Sinha to be opposition party's candidate for a presidential election. In Maharashtra, Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray sacked Shiv Sena Minister Eknath Shinde from the post of party group leader. And in hockey, the first match of the final double-header between India and the USA in the FIH Pro League 2021-22 underway at the Hazelerwerk Stadium in Rotterdam, Netherlands. And with that, we end the evening news. Good night.